Jan of Jan Hicks Creates here, coming to you from San Antonio, Texas. Yes, we have made it. We are in the campground, which is more than likely going to be our home for the next 2 years. Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be an adjustment, no doubt. But we are here, we're getting settled in. Mike started work yesterday. So we'll be slowly but surely getting back to normal. As many of you know, I did spend the past month, we got in here last Thursday. It was a 4-day drive from Phoenix over here. We do not drive long days. You can't go fast in the RV, and we do not drive long days in the RV. So it took us 4 days to get from Phoenix to San Antonio, and spent a month in Phoenix getting the rig kind of sorted, getting rid of some stuff, getting some organization done, and then spending a lot of time, of course, with Mike's dad. Mike's dad is doing well, all things considered. He, of course, has ups and downs, but he's, you know, and there's a lot of just the stupid paperwork that you have to do when you lose someone, when you lose a spouse specifically. But he's doing well, and he is even starting to think about, well, he's starting to decorate his apartment, which is a big deal. You know, they just moved into this retirement community apartment right before Mike's mom started going downhill again. And they basically just got the basics unpacked, and all that came to a standstill as they were dealing with her illness. So started to hang pictures on the wall and get stuff put out, and he's starting to think about you know, what his life is going to be like from here on out. So it was hard to leave him. We were not sad to leave the heat of Phoenix though. Holy cow, that desert heat. And you know, it's not like it's cool here in San Antonio, but it's a good at least 10 to 15 degrees cooler, even with the humidity, than it is in Phoenix. And I tell you what, I'd rather have humidity than that dry desert heat. So we are here. I got a lot of stitching done in the meantime. I hope to get back to, I should be getting back to my regular video schedule. Got some tutorials in mind from people that have asked questions. Yeah, so hopefully, you know, back to whatever normal is. And then of course we're going to be traveling around. We did drive around a little bit on Saturday, kind of getting a feel for the place. There's a lot of areas we want to explore here. So yeah, hopefully we'll be doing a bit of that, and I'll be sharing that on our other channel, Sunsets and Sangria. We haven't done anything on that for a long time. But yeah, so lots of stitching to show you. This is probably going to be another long one, so if you want to pause it and get yourself something to drink, get yourself comfy. I never did do kind of a wrap up of my Christmas in July projects, so I will go through all of those again. Show you what I've been stitching in the meantime. I have a couple new starts and a little bit of haul, and some of that haul you'll actually see because they're with new starts. One is with a planned start, but anyway. So are you ready? All right, let's go back to Christmas in July. So I was working on these in July as my focus pieces. And then the other things kind of in between, you know, my 1 hour pieces type thing. So the first thing I want to show you, I don't have a good background for this. This will do. This is Hark. This is from the holiday 1997 issue of Just Cross Stitch. This is a 1/1 design on 28 count raw linen. The designer is Maureen Appleton, the Heart's Content, and I have long had a love affair with her and her designs because she is very much an over-one stitcher. So that is gorgeous. I am very happy with that. I don't know when I'm going to get any of these finished. it's, you know, I could go to a store here and get the supplies I need. I don't have, I think I have a little piece of backing board, but I don't have any glue. I don't have, you know, all of that is still in Hawaii. The pack out for our goods, our apartment in Hawaii, doesn't happen until September 3rd. We probably won't see our household goods until the beginning of November. So I'm not really going to worry a whole lot about getting stuff finished. I can't even iron anything because I don't have my iron with me. One thing I am really regretting not packing to bring with me though is my DMC color card. I have the one with the real threads for my designing. I need that. Oh my God. I am kicking myself constantly for not packing that. Anyway, got done this one. This is one of the Dimensions Ornament Christmas Sayings ornament set. I think there's 6 in the set. I of course changed out the fabric from the Ada to a 36 count. This is called mint green or green mint or something like that. Cream mint from XJU Design. I love this on this fabric. I loved stitching this. It was a little, I was a little unsure. The border is two blended threads. That's kind of redundant. Is blended threads, 2 different colors. And of course on 36 count, I usually do 1 thread over 2 stitches or over 2 linen threads. So that is 2 threads. So it is a little bit heavier than the rest of the stitching. So I was a little worried that it might overwhelm or be too much compared to the rest of the stitching, but I think it works just fine. I haven't measured to see, I only left a 1-inch border on this, and I haven't measured to see if I have enough of that fabric for all of the ornaments. If not, I can use something else. It's not a big deal, but I'm really happy with that. The other one I finished is, this is Cozy Into Winter by Jeanette Douglas. This is one of the A Little Help from My Friends Circle of Stitching something or other. I can never remember the proper name for this. Sewing Circle. It's the Silver Needle Club that is the Circle of Friends Club, and this is Jeanette Douglas's. I have a piece of floss hanging on that. This is Jeanette Douglas's design for that. I do have one in the mail. We set up a forwarding address through Good Sam, which is a camping membership thing. They have all kinds of facilities for campers, RVers, and one of them is a forwarding service. So we set that up for when we were in between moves. So the next design in this series went to Florida. That's where this address is. So hopefully it is on our way back to us here. But anyways, this is the only one of the kits that I got through them that I've done so far. I've loved all of them, but this was just too perfect, and I adore this. The colors are scrumptious. This was a 32 count raw linen. Those specialty stitches were a lot of fun to do. I just love this. I will probably finish this into a pillow. I may get it framed, but you know, one of the conundrums of living, and I think I've said this before, of living in a space like this is that there isn't a whole lot of wall space. Neither is there a lot of counter space that I'm comfortable setting things out on where I know the cats won't get into things. Or even if they don't get into them, things get so covered with fur, and that just bothers me. So I don't know. It's all going to be a work in progress for a while. The other one I just finished yesterday or the day before is the Country Cottage Needleworks Glitter Cottage #1. Actually, this is not finished. I did not pack. There is actually a metallic thread, and it calls for a Vera Soie, one of the Vera Soie metallics. I am going to go to Stitches in the Heart here. I have heard that they have a really good selection of threads, so I am hoping they will carry what I need for that. If not, you know, I can just get a Krynic, or I'd like to try the new DMC Diamante thread, but I don't know whether you can tell on this. There's an outline around the door between the white and the pink that is the metallic. There's some of the little flowers here on the ground that's a metallic, and there's some little places on the tree that's the metallic. So this is another XJU design. No, that's not. This is Under the Sea Fabrics. This is an opalescent. I don't know whether you can see the sparkles in it. I forget, Silver Fog or something like that is the color. Again, I did not measure to see if I have enough of this fabric for all 9 cottages. If not, I will use something else. I'm going to finish this in probably in one of the cubes or a stand-up fold thingy. You know, I'll finish all of them like that and have them, I don't know, sitting somewhere. I don't know. So yeah, really enjoyed stitching this. Oh, I was going to say, most of it's the called for colors. I did sub out a blue. I did not have the, I think it was blue bead, excuse me, Classic Colorworks blue bead board for the house. And I used a, I think it's Jay's X Stitch. I forget what the color blue is. I love the blue. Unfortunately, there's little trees there in front of the house. The green of the trees kind of fade into the blue. Oh well. I love that blue so much, I don't care. So, that's all the Christmas ones that I got done. I started 3 or 4 other ones. I will start working on this one again next. This is the Cedar Hill Designs, what is this? Christmas Bouquet. I adore this one too. The colors are very much the same as what Jeanette Douglas used. So yeah, I want to get this one done. That won't get started again until things just are flying everywhere. Until I finish Pretty Little India, and I'll be showing you that in a few minutes. So, in the evenings, once July was over, once the Christmas in July things was over, I picked up Farewell to Anger again and fell hard again in love with this piece. Holy cow, I love full coverage. I love over one. And I love working with Pattern Keeper. It's a win-win. I'm still only like, I don't even know whether I'm 2% done with this yet. But that's okay. Love, love, love. So this is a 25 count Lugana that I'm using. I have it on an 11 by 11 Q-snap. No, I do not usually work on a frame of any sort, but this has, you can see this fabric all bunched up here. It's just too much fabric to handle, even just sitting in my lap. So it's on an 11 by 11 Q-snap. And I have a grime guard by DLK Crafts. That looks great with it. So this one actually got set aside again, but I hope to pull it out again soon. Oh, put that over there. I'll explain why it got set aside in a second. So my hour a day piece, although it hasn't gotten much love, it didn't get any love on the trip across, I don't think. This is the Prim Series Stitch, this Prim Stitch series. I am awful with names. Have you noticed that? I will put all kinds of things down in the description box below. If you ever have a question about anything I'm saying, hopefully I have put it in the description box below and I've put a link. If I haven't and you have a question about something, please let me know. Oh, and I also wanted to say, I never did get through all the comments from my last video. I just didn't. I had every intention to, but I just didn't. So if you've asked me a question and I have not answered it, you know, I have the best of intentions of going back, but reality says I probably won't get to them now at this point. So if you ask me a question and I did not answer it, it is not because I'm ignoring you. It's because life gets in the way. Ask it again and I will answer. I promise. Prim Series Stitch. Prim Stitch Series. I don't know what it's called. Fat Quarter Shop, Lori Holt, Bee in My Bonnet. This is a 12-month series. Each block is 1 month. So I am working on month 2, which came to me around about August 6th. I am getting these as a PDF. I asked them to send them to me as a PDF because, you know, my mail address was so weird for a month and a half. But I think it calls for, this is the fabric it calls for. It's a 25 count Lugana. Of course, it calls for over 2. I am doing it over 1. And I am using the called for Aurifil cotton flosses. They are wonderful to work with, and I will be doing a review of them in a separate video. So I am loving this. I am loving it over 1. Just another really sweet stitch from Bee in My Bonnet, from Lori Holt. All right, so Pretty Little India. I had planned this to be my travel project, and I am thrilled with how much I got done. My goal was to get the entire left side of the design done, and I did on the 4-day trip across, as well as there was some white missing. There were some bits and pieces missing in the middle. I got all of that done, and then I worked on it, of course, once we landed here, and so I'm probably about halfway done with the right side. I love this. This is a 36 count, just plain old white linen. I am using 1 strand, the called for DMC, 1 strand over 2 linen threads. This makes me so happy. The theme, the colors, everything makes me so happy. Now, I will say, I had a conversation with a couple people who commented, like in my Facebook group. If you're not a member, please come and join me. I'm coming up on 1,000 members there, and I'm probably going to do some kind of giveaway once we hit 1,000. So join me on over there so I can give you something. You know, I have a ton of stuff to give away. I kind of stopped as we were getting closer to leaving because I didn't want that additional stress. So once my household goods get here, I'm going to have a ton of stuff to give away. But anyway, several people commented that they can't stitch in a moving vehicle because, of course, the roads aren't the best. You know, the bumps get to them. And I realized I didn't really, even on 36 count, I really didn't have any problems. And I think it's another win for the sewing method. Because, you know, with the sewing method, I'm never taking my needle down away from the fabric underneath. You know, I'm just going under and back up. Under and back up. So it's not like I have a hard time like finding the hole when I'm coming back up. My needle's just right there. So the only up that I'm doing away from my fabric is on the top, and of course then I can see where I need to place my needle for the next stitch. So another win for stitching in hand in the sewing method. This is an hour a day project. So yeah, I hope to get this done actually by the end of the month. Once we were on the road, so that was my on the road, and we drove about 4 to 5 hours. So I would say I had every day at least 4 to 5 hours, maybe not the full 5 hours, but most of that time to stitch on the road. I'm a little slower on the road because there are bumps, but you know, I got a lot done on that. My evening project, my reward for everything we'd been through and finally getting on the road, was to start Pandemic. I tell you guys, other people have said how in love they are with this. I totally agree. So I am using Mrs. Sada's floss. Excuse me, my nose itches. I showed you, I think, those what I was using before, just a mix of them, kind of based on, so this is, the bird there is in Jan's Pride, the one that Raquel dyed based on her Pride, but more tropical colors. It was a one-time deal that she did just for me. So I have enough of that left that's kind of my inspiration color, and all the other colors are kind of based on that, with black to kind of set off all those wonderful colors. I started in the upper right corner, mostly because so many people were starting in the upper left. I wanted to see a different part of it, because I've got to be different. So this is a 46 count linen. It is called Silver Fox, and it is by the fairly new to cross stitch fabric company, Fiber on a Whim. They just started, their first time at market was this past March. So they've just entered the cross stitch fabric market. You can find, I will link their website below. I believe they sell Aida on their website, but they do not sell linen on their website. I don't know why they made that business decision, but they did. So I went to the attic while we were in Phoenix. It was about a half hour from where we were staying at the RV park there, to find fabric for this and for a couple other things, which I will be showing you. And I went in with the intention of getting a mottled gray 40 count. Carolyn, the woman that works there, convinced me that 40 count and 46 count are not all that different. And this fabric color just, it's hard to see it in this light. It's a little bit washed out, but it is very much a mottled, kind of a tealy bluey gray. Definitely washed out. Great modeling though. This is called Silver Fox. I've never stitched on 46 count before. I was a little worried that, you know, how would I do with 46 count? She told me that she doesn't find it to be any different than 40 count, and I agree with her. I am having no problems at all with 46 count. I'm just using my readers just like I do for everything else. I don't need anything else at this point. It makes me think I might try 56 count and see how I do with that. She tried to talk me into 56 count, and I said, no, let's start with 46. Let's just not get too carried away here. So, I'm thrilled with that. I am working on that every evening still. There will probably come a time in the not too distant future. I may go back and forth between Farewell to Anger and Pandemic for the rest of this month, but I'm still enjoying Pandemic too much to not be working on it. Of course, now that I'm looking at Farewell to Anger, that's calling to me too. Both of those, by the way, are in Pattern Keeper. So that's my current works, my current whips. Now, new starts. I guess the pandemic is kind of a new start too since I last talked to you. It's been a while, I know. Okay, so one of the things that we worked on getting set up was my computer. I think I mentioned last time that we had decided, instead of getting a separate monitor, that it had been suggested to me that I use our TV as our monitor, and we set it up and it works spectacularly well. I can sit in my recliner with all of my gadgets around me and be working on the TV screen. It's wonderful. Excuse me. So, started designing again. I am working on 2 projects, one of which is, for those of you that have been seeing my post about my son's artwork, I am going to be charting some of his art for cross stitch as well. So I'm working on one of those right now, And I'm working on Autumn Flourish. I started stitching on this yesterday. Woohoo! Look at the progress. There you go. This is a 32 count. Picture this plus linen in the sand colorway. Again, it's kind of washed out here. That's not too bad, the top part of it. But I love the palette I chose. So this is also from the attic, the fabric and the fibers. So I spent a lot of time at the attic. Whoops, get back here. Picking out my color palette for this design. And I am very happy with it. So I'm excited to see it stitched up. I am hoping to get this done. It's Tuesday. I hope to get it done by the end of the weekend and get it up in my store. So be looking for that. All right, my pile in front of me is gone. So that means I've shown you everything I've been working on. So now, what's coming next? I wanted to mention to you something that Carolyn Zook, Zook Stitch here on Flosstube, and Robin, Robin Hall? I've forgotten your last name, Robin. She is Little Bird Stitches here on Flosstube, and I will link them both below. They came up with the fantastic idea of doing a monthly stitch along called Monthly Magazine Challenge. So we all collect these magazines, and we look through them and say, oh, I really like that, I really like this, oh, I definitely want to stitch that, but we never get around to it. So they started a challenge every month to do that. So they're going to pick a theme every month, and we look through our magazines and find something to stitch for that theme. They also have an acrostic every month. So like the theme for September, this starts September 1st, is autumn, fall. So you look through your magazines and find a pattern, you know, for that theme. And then they also have an acrostic. This one is leaves, so for September. So the idea is that you find a project, you know, with the somehow where the letter of each letter in the word leaves is incorporated, suggested, used in the titles somehow. You don't have to do all of that. You don't have to make it all fit in any way. I'm doing the magazine thing. I'm not doing the acrostic because for everything else, I want to stitch what I want. And I can't handle restraints like that. Not to mention the time to figure that out. Not to mention I have very few of my whips here, so I don't know what would work and what wouldn't. Just too much worry. They've created a Facebook group. I will put the name of that below. I believe it is Monthly Magazine Challenge. Lots of activity. I invite you to join us. I have chosen, let me show you. I meant to have this ready, but I forgot. I have chosen a little stitch. Come on. I am going into Readly. Readly, R-E-A-D-L-Y, is the app that for $9.99 a month lets you, they have thousands and thousands and thousands of magazines on every subject you could possibly want. They also have a bunch of the cross stitch magazines. Most of them are the UK magazines, World of Cross Stitch, Cross Stitch Crazy, The Cross Stitcher, but they also have just cross stitch. And they have some, like only a half dozen maybe, of the sampler and antique needlework, you know, the old magazine. So I went through, and the thing about Readly, for all of those different magazines, you can see the back issues from up to 5 years ago. They don't have all of the back issues from all the years, but they have like for a number of years previous. So it's a really great resource. And because it's all digital, I don't have stacks of magazines around, which I'm not going to do. But I went through and I found in the Sampler and Antique Needleworks magazine, well, both of these really, I think, are awesome. Both sides of this page. But I decided to do these acorns. And the acorns are all done in queen stitch. So this will allow me to not only, do something fun and different, but learn a new stitch, because I do not know queen stitch. I've never done queen stitch before. I am also going to be using the Thread Picker silks for it, so I'll get to try out those silks. So I also picked up fabric for this at the attic. And this is Weeks Dye Works parchment in 36 count. 36 count is what the pattern calls for. So it's just kind of a, very plain, nothing fancy, kind of a yellowy. It might be pretty close to the real color. Now, the colors that they use, I wouldn't say they're particularly autumny. There's some golds and some reds and maybe a little brown and green, but that bright blue, well, I guess the bright blue sky, right? I didn't really worry about having the right colors. Sorry, I just bumped you around. I just picked some from the thread pickers that I got that I think kind of have an autumn feel, and they'll kind of go together. So that starts September 1st. I am looking forward to getting started on that. And like I said, learning a new stitch. Just a little thing. And if that goes, I haven't the faintest idea how quickly queen stitch goes. It looks like it might be a little fiddly, but it's just needle and thread. I'm not real worried about it. If I get done with this, it's just a little thing. This is a 13 by 18 piece of fabric. I may do one of the ones on the other page as well. Like that little house. I really like that little house with the pumpkin. I'm not into Halloween, but I am into fall. And maybe I can find a place to just put little pillows. I don't know. Like I said, we're going to be figuring this out as we go. So the other thing I hope to start, I'd like to start it over Labor Day weekend. Do you remember me showing you this before, the Star Center quilt? This is another Jeanette Douglas. I know Caroline from Off the Grid Needle Arts is doing a Jeanette Douglas sow, so this is kind of in line with that. I got this at StitchCon last year. I got this and the silk pack that goes with it. I don't have the fabric. I decided to wait and get the fabric from the store here because I thought that was kind of appropriate that I should get. I'm starting the Star Center quilt for to celebrate moving to the Lone Star State. And I think I should be getting the fabric from the Texas store, right? So, I don't know when I'm going to get to the store, but hopefully soon. All right, the other haul I got, I also got a project bag from the attic. This is made by their finisher. They have a bunch of different ones there that their finisher makes to sell in the store. Look at the cats and look at the color. I mean, I could not pass this up. Little zipper pull with little buttons on it. And then the inside fabric is the same as these strips here. So, love that. And then I also got, I don't spend a lot of time on like stash unloading and that kind of thing just because it's dangerous and I don't need more stash. I know, you all just laughed at me. I know, it's okay. But, you know how much I love the Christmas bouquet from Cedar Hill Stitchery. Cedar Hill Counted Cross Stitch. Bouquet for January. Crocuses, Lenten roses. Bouquet for August. Fuchsia, chrysanthemums. They apparently did a bouquet for every month, right? I love this. I just love this style. Will I look for all the bouquets for all the months? Not on purpose, but if I find them, I'm gonna get them. I love them. She also threw in the person that was selling this, who I believe is the owner of this store. I think she's liquidating her assets, as it were. She sent this for free. Isn't that pretty? She obviously knew I liked flowers. Very pretty. The other thing I got was the retreat kit for the Stitching Sirens retreat. That was supposed to happen here in San Antonio in August. First weekend. Did we just buy the first weekend? Last weekend. Yeah, we were driving. We were driving when it happened. They did a virtual retreat. Leslie kitted this all up. Leslie from Under the Sea Fabrics is the one who organizes all this. So she included a piece of her fabric. I don't know. There's a pattern in here. It's kind of a it's a Halloween pattern. And of course, you know, I am not big into Halloween, but I will find some use for this pretty little fabric. Floss, hand-dyed floss. She included everything you need to finish. This is like a little Halloween ornament. She included everything you need to finish it, including trim. She included a needle. There is a Stitching Siren needle minder and kinds of little goodies. So that's my stuff. That's what I've been doing over the past month. Like I said, I hope to get back to whatever normal is going to look like here, plus some tutorials and, you know, stuff. I don't know whether I'll do any Stitch with me's for a while. I don't know, depends on what I feel. If I feel like there's something I can teach you along the way. But yeah, we're doing good. We are glad to be here, glad that the transition is pretty much done. We're looking forward to getting our household goods, but that's 2.5 months away yet, so we'll make do. I did remember to pull out my angel card. So for those that don't know, these are from Teresa Kogut. They are called the Angel Kindness cards. You can find this on Teresa's website. You can find, it's a package. It's a box of cards. 52, I believe. Teresa Kitten Stitcher is also selling these. I swear I want Teresa Kogut to make a cross-stitch pattern out of each and every one of these angels. She has cross-stitch patterns for some of them, but not all of them. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. Reach out with compassion to someone who seems down. You may be the light that brings them out of the darkness. Lord knows, there's a lot of frustration and anger and concern and worry. I hope that this video brings some lightness to you, brings some brightness, brings some smiles. I hope you'll join me on the Facebook group. We have a lot of good sharing on there. And like I said, if there is any questions you ask that I did not answer, please know that it was not an intentional oversight. It was just lack of time and energy for a while there. I think that's all, guys. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad I'm here. I hope you are ready for some new adventures, because I am. Until next time, you take care of yourselves. I love you guys. Bye-bye.